Hi again, YouTubers. I am back at my grandma's residence, after a long day, waiting, you know, in the hospital, and got some other, some other tests, including but are now limited to another, blood test. So actually, that made me feel so demoralized and even more depressed. But I started to regain a bit of more strength and focus several hours after I got I returned home, physically safe and sound. And I do also experience something, quite let's just say, something that I might not have experienced before, both and bad. In fact, I also was kind of planning to make this video, after I made a after having finished made a, after having finished making a Bible reading video, to kind of see how much difference it can make, after you read the Bible, you assimilate some wisdom from God, from the words of God at least, and then you make a video to see how it could positively affect your mindset and the flows of your speech, and therefore producing more valuable contents, therefore producing and delivering more valuable and productive contents to my fellow audiences. So that was my original plan, well before I make this video. But so I just like to title this video, how to utterly destroy a man or a boy. So I'd say, the one of the first, first and foremost, you can utterly destroy a boy by shattering his confidence, especially his self-confidence and self-esteem, by making him question and second guess everything he does and everything he thinks of and thinks about, or everything that comes to his mind. And I suppose that might also fall into the category of satanic tricks and manipulations, since considering how Adam fell into or gave into temptation of eating the forbidden fruit, since apparently also according to the Bible, Adam was not actually deceived by Satan per se, but in fact he was, he fell victim to his own lustful desires, and for the specific details, I also don't quite know. I also don't know very much about the specific details, especially the underlying mechanisms behind all those events. So I'm just gonna give you my own my own opinions in regards to, and in regards to how I reckon a man or a boy gets utterly destroyed, and also in allusion to the Bible, to the scriptures, to some verses from the Bible, and to also to in allusion to some of my very own interpretations, about the Bible, etc. I have made I have kind of habitualized such behavior characterized by making allusions to biblical verses, to kind of trying to apply what I managed to gather, what I managed to learn, to have learned from the Bible, to real life situations and scenarios. And even judging by the current circumstance, it gets more and more habitualized, since I have utterly nobody to talk to in English. I mean face to face, and I have as far as I know, yeah, I nowadays I have at least several fans or online friends, with whom I can talk to, concerning various sorts of affairs and topics, and that I very much appreciate. And so here I must thank you, all of you guys there who have been, who had been talking to me, who had either been talking to me in the past, or or in the or most recently, yeah, especially Sigma and duality, reality, even if I don't fully agree with Sigma's interpretations about the Bible, about hell, about despite his denial of hell, of some other core doctrines of Christianity, such as Trinity. I still at least to a large extent value him as an online friend, that I can at least trust to a certain degree, because he told me to he told me to get rid of my own problems and issues first, before I attempt to find the other half of mine, aka my spouse, and in other words, the MGTOWing, well, at least for now, at least in the foreseeable, let's just say half a decade, probably, most likely, I suppose I shall remain a MGTOW, and quite well before I start a family, and I have to first of all become fully capable of sustaining my own life, with the sound quality, instead of trying to grab a girl as a spouse, and live constantly live a life of constant misery, and let somebody else, or drag somebody else into my own misery, and just multiplying and amplifying the pain and the misery even more, and that just that doesn't sound all too ethical, to me. Therefore, I largely agree with what the Sigma dude said to me about marriage. First of all, you get yourself, you have to learn. You have to learn a lot. You have to continue learning, and continue, working hard to gather wealth and socioeconomic socioeconomic status as well. Well before you decide to de-MGTOW yourself. Yes, I suppose he made some sense, at least as far as I know at the moment. That sounds quite legitimate to me and quite logical. Yeah, sorry, got a bit of sidetracked again. Let's continue to talk about what do you do in order to utterly destroy a man or a boy, or broadly speaking, male human individual. You then, I have mentioned the first and foremost method, and here comes the second. You work hard to either abuse or misuse or that man's father. And I have, I don't, well, I can't, say that I fully witnessed, how such process worked on my own dad firsthand, because, on most occasions I wasn't actually, at the scene. I wasn't actually present at the scene to witness, how my old man got abused by his abusive wife, and and then ended up dying a premature death, and a sudden and premature death, which resulted, largely and chiefly resulted in my current, seemingly endless sorts of misery and living hell. But well, at least I still have a camera to speak to. At least I still have access to the global internet by various circumvention methods. At least I still, have my grandma and and aunt and uncle who truly cares and love me, who truly cares about and love me. Who also accompanied me on the way to the hospital and throughout the entire diagnose process, for like 3 consecutive times. I can't say 3 consecutive weeks, because the doctor prescribed me the amount of pills slash medications that were sufficient to for me to ingest for a week. And then for the second visit, the doctor, of course the same doctor with whom I consulted, for the first time, he then prescribed me the dosage of a fortnight, aka 2 weeks, and then this time he also prescribed me dosage of another 2 weeks to see how those how well those medications work on me to treat my symptoms and depression, anxiety, and also intrusive thoughts, also OCD symptoms characterized by suicidal intrusive thoughts and murderous intrusive thoughts, etc. So I suppose there comes the third method to destroy a man or a boy, is to tell that boy or a man has become sick or ill. Especially, you tell him that he has caught himself with some sort of somewhat serious illness, not necessarily terminal illness, but somewhat mildly concerning illness, such as hyperthyroidism, and that in fact the doctor that I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism by a female doctor over there, in that hospital, actually, yeah, situated in the in the eastern in the eastern part of this city I'm currently dwelling in. Well, I will include the map, of that whole hospital, but I'm afraid it will still take me some time to translate them. But I will do my best, and I will also try to include some more sensitive information on my Patreon page. So be sure to check them out in case that interests you. So yeah, I suppose that's the three most powerful and three most insidious method to utterly destroy a male human individual. And to sum up, actually there was just one: to utterly shatter, you utterly destroy a man or a boy by utterly shattering his self-confidence, his self-esteem. And once you manage to accomplish that, it at least does, at least part of your effort will count for quite some period of time, for quite a long duration, at least maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, even several years. It can take several years for a fatherless dude like me, and a technically jobless dude like me to fully recover from, or to even partially recover from my current symptoms, and I certainly don't expect myself to heal that fast, judging by the duration, that that I have suffered with those conditions, though they didn't actually manifest themselves so vigorously, so intensely, so so characteristically, let's just put it this way. Sorry, I got kind of rusty with my language abilities, but despite the I got kind of it still made me kind of curious, to actually hear from that male, supposedly psychiatrist, that my condition, my illness won't affect my language abilities, but I still have such fear, such fear still persist on me, and it continues to perpetuate itself like a like a like some sort of infinite loop. I don't know if you learned programming or know a thing or know a thing or two about programming, but if you get an infinite loop, that means that loop will continue to perpetuate, unless you manually disrupt its continuance, its intrinsically built urge to perpetuate itself. Sorry, yeah, that's the best I can do to express the meaning I desire to convey to you guys. And I hope this video can bring you guys a bit of a wisdom, if not also warning, to serve as a warning, at least for younger guys, boys and men. So just take heed in whatever thing you do, in whatever in whatever in whoever you choose to interact with, because all those things you do and all those things that you think will always play a vital role in determining the overall course of your life, and that I suppose agrees with the biblical verse, from one biblical verse from Proverbs, called, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Sorry, it's from a New Living Translation, and I haven't got myself too sufficiently familiarized with the KJV version yet. So that's why tonight I'm gonna read the New Living Translation. The New Living Translation for the book of Revelation, chapter 1, from chapter 1 to chapter 3, and then I might, if I have more strength and time and energy, I might then proceed to read more KJV Bible, and then complement it with some further readings of the New Living Translation by Bible. Yeah. So thanks, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Jesus. Just a final word for this video. Don't get sick. Don't get sick in China. Try not to get sick in China, and try not to visit a doctor here in the capital city of Hebei province, even if you get sick, because you won't get fully honest advice. You might got yourself diagnosed with diseases or illnesses that most likely don't actually exist on you. So yeah, that would be the final word for this video, and thank you again for watching and listening, and I will see you guys in my next videos on YouTube. Yeah, so you guys take care, and let's look after one another as much as we can, because you know why I said that, and yeah, that's it for this video. Bye bye, good night, good day, cheers.